Yes, I think I've filed 12 patents and I've gotten 5. So the first thing to know about patenting is it often doesn't work. The best way to get a good patent is to get a good lawyer. And that's not a great answer. It really is not a great answer. I wish the answer was better. But in my experience, they can do two things. The first thing they can do is help you determine whether or not what you're building is novel. That's the primary question that a patent reviewer, someone at the patent office, is going to ask. Is this a completely unique idea? Is it totally novel? And so they're going to look at, is it derived from other things that are patented? If it is, maybe it's not novel. Maybe it's the next obvious thing. And so lawyers do great due diligence on that. It's not necessarily cheap, but it is the most efficient way that you can ensure you're going to get is doing that due diligence. Now, you can do that due diligence yourself. You absolutely can. And with AI, it's easier than ever. You can go, most countries have open source patents, so you can just go see what's patented, learn to query the database. That is a skill in and of itself, is learning to query it. Download the patents, upload them into GPT or Claude, and then ask questions of those patents. Ask, is this derivative? And that's the big thing. Is it derivative? Is it novel? If you can establish it's not derivative and it is novel, high probability or higher probability. The second thing is really think not about what you're doing, but about what you're doing means long-term. A lot of people focus on, I'm solving this specific thing right now, and that could be patentable, but let's assume that's successful. Let's assume that the thing that you're solving right now is successful. Play it forward 5 years. Play it forward 10 years. Don't make it just a product. Maybe make it a platform. Maybe make it a suite of products. Start thinking about what happens if 100 million people use it. It's going to look different than if 10,000 people use it, right? Now that 100 million people solution, that's probably more novel than the 10,000 person solution. That's probably a newer idea because it's bigger, it's at scale, it doesn't exist at scale today. That might be the more patentable vision. And at that scale out there, if you get that patent, that's what you should be shooting towards, right? If you're going to build a product, you're going to build a platform, if you're going to build anything, the first step is almost always, in my experience at least, and statistically in the broader market, the first step is almost always wrong. What's right is the kind of evolution, the long-term goal. For example, at Amazon, we launched digital video in 2006. I was on the launch team for that. No one watched Amazon digital video until 2014. And it wasn't really a big deal until 2020. So very long ramp time. But the patents that were filed in 2006 made a huge difference in 2020, right? And it's setting the vision for the product. The vision is almost more important than your first step. It's definitely more important in raising capital. If you have a great vision, talks to a big market, talks to a lot of customers, talks to a lot of capabilities, that's where investors like to invest. And patents, same thing. Patents, if it's a big vision, if you can show that it's going to affect hundreds of billions of people, and then you start designing the technology, you start designing the idea at that level, and then work backwards to where you are today, that bigger thing is much, much better investment in intellectual property protection. Because if you patent what you're launching with, you'll probably change it minutes to hours to months after you launch. And then that patent, not so relevant